Good morning, everybody. Tuesday morning, back with another stream. And as ever, it's like Groundhog Day in these markets right now. All right, we're just trapped between ranges, sitting inside of previous day's range right here. Value area high from Monday, value area low from Monday, current point of control, yesterday point of control. So yesterday we bid up, sold off, started grinding back up, and we are just in consolidation between these areas. So really you're thinking about edges. The easier trade will be a breakout, retest, hold, or a breakdown into this area. This is your higher time frame demand area right now. Right, so this is where I'm expecting buyers to start turning up. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Before I start carrying on, hopefully some of you here. Okay, nice. All right, yeah, so we're just doing this dance right now in these point of control areas, right? Inside yesterday's volume. ES is doing the dance also, all right, just started failing underneath VWAP. And remember on the higher time frame, we're banging up against this old level here, all right, so this area that we failed from and this top Bollinger Band. So we're running out of room for upside unless we get some buyers really step in, and they would have to be very, very aggressive to move this up without setting a trap. So very hard conditions today, very tough to be a buyer in a market which is trending up at all-time highs without enough liquidity to search for, and very tough to be a seller early in a market. This is choppy action, all right? Very, very choppy action right now. So best, as I've been saying in Discord this morning, to wait. I did catch a piece of the move from here to here earlier before the open, and now I'm just waiting. Not a whole lot we can do here. Even looking at the M5 chart, this is what my concern is. Right now we have a very clear trend line from London, all right, which means there's lots of liquidity being built up from London, which I kind of feel like it will want to take. If it's going to do something dirty, like take Asia and then roll over, we can look to use this liquidity later in the day. But we need to let it be clear, because right now, there is a lack of follow through both sides on the chart right now. So we're just waiting for this to build up a bit and give us a clearer direction. Thanks, John. Morning, Marek. Morning, Mindful Matters. Morning, Array. So yeah, just letting liquidity build out. VWAP has now been broken on the ES, now trading underneath previous day close. NQ's previous day close is this white line and VWAP down here, and this is that liquidity trend line built from London. So I'm watching these levels closely. Do they continue to trap here, or do we finally get a move that lets go? Otherwise, upside targets, you have previous day high here. We have some intraday supply into that. If we just zoom left, we can mark out the other level as well, just in case it comes in. So yeah, just doing a dance here in a very tight range, about 40-point range. Not willing to put any risk on right now, just gonna let it build out the liquidity necessary. VIX still trading downside, right? VIX looks like it's doing 10-minute bear flag after 10-minute bear flag, trading downside. Remember that gap fill on the VIX that we've been looking at for a week now is down to 1920. So we've slowly drifted there. After that huge gap up, we hit highs of almost 23.15, and we've slowly been fading off day by day on the VIX. Right, as the volatility starts to come out of the market and we start to drift higher in the market on low volume. So we've had some divergences there for about 3 or 4 days now. So I've got my eyes on that new lower day coming here on VIX. Morning, Glenn. Morning, Michael. Morning, Stephen. So yeah, just sat and waiting. We'll wait for a clear opportunity. As you can see here, flow zones are all sideways and horizontal, stacked just above VWAP, just above lower time frame algo. So kind of flat day, indecision day as expected. No big news drivers today either to move the market. Morning, DJ. Hey, Scotty. Hope you're good, buddy. So yeah, one nice trade before market. Just tried to take a scalp. For some reason, trade copier decided it was going to be very laggy this morning. Cost me about 50% of my profits. So I think my biggest winner on that was, let's have a look, my lead account, 123 bucks, and the least it made was 60. Yeah, so about 50% in slippage there. Very annoying, and I wasn't using big size, so must have been very slow today. So I'm going to have to keep my eye on that. Morning, Ryan. Good morning, buddy. Thanks everyone for joining. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, share it with your other rooms, share the video with your friends. Let's get this video moving. So far we are protecting this current low. All right, this low, we're protecting this, and this is your chop range, and we're protecting this high. So this is the range for the day. We're either going to get a failed breakout, recover, failed breakout, failure, breakout, continuation, breakout, continuation, and we're going to wait for it to get outside of this range. If you're playing an M15 opening range today, you're still inside that M15 candle. I'm just going to double check I'm not talking nonsense there. Yeah, we're still inside the opening M15 range. So if you're playing an M15 opening range break, there's still nothing to trade here. So very limited action here. What was the opening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're still inside the opening 5-minute range as well. All right, so there's no breakout traders in this market right now. Trade plan for the day. Very tough, Scotty, as I was saying to the guys in Discord. Expect the market to drift higher. There's no catalyst for this to go lower right now, but what I am concerned about is this move here, right? This is London session. All these stops, they're all comfortably in the money, and we've taken out Asia high here. So technically we should continue to drift higher, but we might need to come and wash some of those stops first. If VIX does a gap fill and then finds a bid, I'd be very cautious about any more upside in the market. But we might just have an inside day. All right, looking at the daily, we're banging right against top Bollinger, old supply. All right, so it might need a pullback. I would much rather we just keep moving higher today, only for a weekly model basis, because it's going to leave a really good range Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a downside move if we do that. But I'm going to let the market show its hand. No massive draw on liquidity today. If it wants to dive down, maybe we come back and test 510 to 450. That 5 days sitting at 525 as well. VIX now finding a bid, starting to find a bid here. Morning Coop, morning Eva. So no big edge in the market. It's not like we have a very clear draw on liquidity for the market to move to, in my opinion, right now. We're banging right against that second standard deviation on the Bollinger Band, inside old supply. We've hit all-time highs on the ES. To move higher on the ES, we are either going to need a bullish catalyst or we're going to need intraday bears trapped. So without either of those, it's going to have to build liquidity. Really, I'm watching the M5 more than anything right now. I'm watching this right here. This will give me the edge. I'm not interested in trading inside that range. I want to wait for it to break or failed break outside of that range currently. Once we do that, I can think about what's next. ES is looking a bit more bearish though. Just watching it between VWAP and previous day close. If it starts to get heavy underneath that, VIX is starting to try and push over 1950. Maybe we get that bearish tug. If we're going to aim for liquidity, I have to think where buyers stepped in. Unfortunately, it's very choppy here and messy. This is where buyers first came in, and this. So this is where the dips are. If we turn them into sellers, then I think we can come and take out this low, but only if we turn them into sellers. Yeah, that would be really nice. I've got that marked out here on the H1. So the grey box up in between the blue, that's that gap. Yeah, it would be nice, but there's really a lack of impetus for them to sell right now. So Scotty's saying he'd love to see some heavy volume to come and sell and fill Sunday night's gap. Yeah, it would be nice. Do you know what? I'm going to put volume stack on for everyone. Yeah, not much to do right now, unfortunately. ES still rejecting VWAP, rejecting the top of the M5, M10 block for now. Is there any follow through though? That's the question. On the tape, biggest buy order is down towards 530. We've got about 150 orders down there. So it's another 100 points lower. We're just sitting at point of control. Yesterday's point of control, today's point of control. Yes, looks like it wants to test its low of day. Do we start to snap this and start to clean some of it out? That's the question. Oh, didn't want to do that. So traded back to lower time frame algo. It's where they've been soaking bids all day. Here, here, here. VIX trading now 1960. Maybe now we're going to get a flush moment. If they don't do a Judas, that's the question. Need to see some volume step in. Yes, so far reclaiming. But it is underneath previous day close. If we stay underneath previous day close, it does open the door for a first red day scenario. But remember, you were in bullish momentum, so any shorts today will be counter trend on the higher time frame. So they are see money, take money type environment trades. There you go. There's the first flush down. Oh, move that. Sorry, team. So do they stay heavy now on retests? Can we start thinking about lower prices? So if you took that snapshot, starting to pay now already. I want to see this build out a little bit of liquidity and think about where we can head to on an M5. I definitely don't want to get trapped where these buyers came in London. But I do think if we're going to sell, there's a chance we can go down towards London low. 563, yeah, and maybe even beneath that into that gap. Value area low was 560 from yesterday, so maybe we can attack into that if and only if it stays heavy. I need to see it build out some structure here, start rejecting this trend line, rejecting low time frame algo, rejecting VWAP, build out a bear flag, something for me to risk against. That's a good rejection there. It's pretty quick. I would have liked it to just hold there for a moment longer and build that out. Don't want to chase here now. It's 15 points already off that rejection on that last M1 candle. Would love a way to get involved here. So this is an area where we found buyers in London. So just watching here if we're going to extend the range towards that value area low from yesterday. Yeah, ES not far away, 5 points away, Scotty. It's got a clear shelf there at 902 that it built overnight. That's where it found buyers. 905 to 902 on the ES is where it found buyers. So continuation lower. We're extended from the flow zones right now, so this is a big flush moment now. Really need it to build out some liquidity here. Right, something where it builds out a bear flag, these can close up and then it flushes. Because this was very quick, this 1 minute candle move. Yes, coming into that 902. Volume picking up here, so you can see right here, the volume is picking up here on this sell. So this is genuine selling for now. Intraday selling, I would say. Coming into those key levels from yesterday. All right, if we break through this, we can think about previous day lows all the way down here, previous day open. 5-day moving average as well, if they're going to soak that midpoint on the mean reversion trade. Good morning, South Cat Dad. I did not eat. I've got a smoothie right next to me though. So almost at that London low already. So no real pullback for me to get involved in personally. I was looking for this to just build out a little bit longer rather than chase this down, but so be it. And we're very close to that London low now. You can see the easy target that we're talking about, this trend line liquidity is coming right into it. Yeah, still not snapped that 902 or 900. Finding some bid support there at the 902. If VIX reprices from 1960 up to 1980, I think we have a further move down in this market. So far it's just dripping down. Hey. It's a bit like yesterday, it just moves up without much to get involved in. Now it's just dripping down without giving many opportunities to get involved in. Into the edge of that H1 range, right? Into the edge of the H1 range right here. This is the old gap and this is old demand. This is your breakout retest area. So it becomes harder the closer we get to it because you're left with worse and worse risk reward the closer we get to that. So Nvidia continuing its sell pressure, as is Meta, and you've now got Amazon and Microsoft gone green to red on the day. So it looks like first red day scenario possible here. We've now swept the London low. So that easy trade that I was looking for has now gone. And they've now taken that trade away from me. Didn't get the opportunity to get involved. So if you got that, well done. Very nice trade. So again, London low has been taken. All right, this is your first easy target that's now been taken. So continuation now would be looking for previous day low 525 into the old gap, new week opening gap. So I want to see a retracement here and then see what we do. Remember, shorts here are counter trend higher time frame for now. Can we build out a bear flag here, or are we simply going to start reclaiming everything and go back to pro trend bullish? I'd love it to just build out a bear flag here and let the flow zones catch up. Let it have something to risk off. It's a good reaction on ES. So basically what I'd now be thinking is, can we effectively on an M5 build out this cup and a handle and a failure and then come into these gaps and previous day lows. ES is back testing that small shelf that it failed from. So ES is doing the equivalent of NQ being right back here. All right, so ES is back testing that range where it broke down from. NQ nowhere near it right now. And it's because tech is weak. Nvidia, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft all red on the day. All right, we started green on everything other than Meta. So we've gone red to green on a lot of the tech. Apple having a strong day today. Microsoft having a decent day. Google having a decent day. Microsoft sort of holding up. Yeah, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, red. Microsoft doing the dance between green to red, red to green. Would be nice, wouldn't it, Scotty? It would be nice, but we'll have to see. Now it's taken London, it makes it much, much harder. It would have been really nice if the market was just kind and built something out here for us to risk off to get down here, because this would have been a very nice 3-to-1 trade at least. It felt like as soon as it let go, it was in a rush to do that. We're going to extend the range here. This could be a new bear flag for move down. Again, flow zones have not caught up. Do not like it when we're extended away from the flow zones this much for a continuation. It looks like they're in a rush to sell right now. So another bear flag, just what we were talking about. And a breakdown. Higher time frame algo, 5-day moving average, previous day open, previous day low. South Cat, are you talking about Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin's getting very close to that daily breakout. It's got a lot of anchored VWAPs and a lot of sell pressure above it, but once it gets through that, it's got a real chance to extend its range upside. It's still building out that sort of daily flag we talked about. So in towards that higher time frame algo now. If you zoom out on the QQQ, this area here is where we found buyers yesterday towards that low of day. It's the same area. And if I go to regular trading hours, this is where we found bids yesterday, right? This is where we found buyers. One, less keen on a short here, and I liked the short here, 2 here. If we turn them into sellers, then we can have a deeper retracement. We're still just inside of range. It's important you zoom out and just remember where you are in the charts. We're just inside of range. SPY trying to retest that low of day now. 902, there's a clear shelf at 902 on the SPY. VIX trading upside now. So high day of the New York session on the VIX, trading at 1961. The VIX can reclaim these areas like I talked about up to 1980 and break out of that, we'll have downside pressure on the market today. If it's just going to chop between those areas, 1980 and 1960, we will probably range inside previous day's value area. Remember, this higher time frame algo right now is where higher time frame buyers have been averagely bidding, all right, based on higher time frame charts. So this is the same area as yesterday where we found those bids, same kind of area. It's not a direct number, it is an area, so sort of like this. That's why I don't like shorting into this area. I want to see it build out structure for me to think about getting short against something like this before we move back down for a break of structure. Don't want to short low of day here in a market which overall is bullish, and if you zoom out, and even if you didn't consider this market bullish, you would have to consider it in a range on an H1. I don't want to be getting short on an H1 in areas we found buyers. If this is a range, I want to be short up here and long down here if we're just a range, until we have a set breakout. All right, not a failed breakout, an actual breakout of that range. So yeah, you could argue I missed this, but I was just playing for my rules. It didn't quite come in. Yeah, Scotty, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, we'll see. We will see, my friend, if it starts to play out. VIX now ripping 1964 on the tape. Can we break up towards that 80 and increase downside pressure on this market? That 902 is going to be absolutely key on the SPY here. If it lets go of it, can have that flush straight to 900, then we have to see if bids stack up at that psychological number. If not, it's got room. That wick down at 98, 91, 89. There is room here on the ES. Remember, all this is on an ES is a pullback from all-time highs. So into that high time frame algo. Can feel FOMO building up in me here. I can feel it building up in me, so I'm having to keep my hands away from this mouse right now. Need a bear flag, need some form of bearish continuation to set up for me to have a good risk profile for this trade. Also going to be open to something like this. All right, remember, high time frame is bullish. If they want to protect these levels, same levels as yesterday, and come in, it might then taper and start to trade back upside. So I will not be too biased, especially towards low of day. If it can build out the bear flag, something for us to risk against, ideally further up here, where it peaks out would be better, so we get a better retracement in terms of a fib, and a failure and a shoulder to play off, that would be ideal. I really want to be paying a bear flag at low of day into a demand area on the higher time frame. So a very easy way to get stuck. This is Sati's volume. You can use any volume indicator you want, but I just like this because it just shows the buy and sell pressure. So VIX still driving up, but got stuffed into that old supply for now. ES trying to reclaim 905. So it's never cleared out 902. It's protected that 902 low. So let's see what we get now. Do we move into some bullish sentiment, or can we build out something like this, which would be ideal? I really want it just to range here. I'd like it to extend higher, fill some of the imbalance, like we have a big M5 imbalance here, fill some of this before moving lower. The reason I'm cautious is because we've swept this. So really, I want to see this kind of move. Yeah, something like that. It could just be like this, but something where we reprice and then fail. Not going to give it. Not going to give it. Well, flow zones did catch up there. Probably should have stopped talking, shouldn't I? All right, into higher time frame algo then. We're into that gap now as well from yesterday. We are into that gap. So 5-day moving average, we're into a breakout retest area. We are extending the value area low from yesterday. We're extending through this now. And look, ES has snapped that 902. It's what we were talking about. So now snapping 900. Coming towards that 5-day. That will be the mean reversion play, will be into that 5-day move. So if you got that while I was talking, chattering away, well done. Into here, TP1, TP2. Yeah, the ES is playing out. Yeah, it's all playing out now. We are heavy. Buyers feel a little bit trapped, but we are into higher time frame levels here. Coming towards the bottom of that gap into 85. I have that gap into 485. Remember now you are into initial balance rules. The initial balance has now been set. So we either auction lower or we failed auction and we trade back inside initial balance. So it's actually a really nice play there. Got caught chattering. Probably need to focus a little bit more when I'm on stream. So next targets, if you're in this, down here. VIX now 1980. All right, so if it breaks 1980, we can start really pushing up on the VIX, adding sell pressure. This was the move we just talked about on the VIX. It's traded from 1960 to 1980 in one candle, reclaiming key areas, but we are into higher time frame levels. We've now closed that gap. Make sure we've closed it on the Qs a little bit longer. So first red day scenario here, just like we talked about, back into and around this 5-day moving average. Continuation lower, previous day open, previous day low. Just remember where you are when you zoom out and look at an H1, right? Remember where you are. These are the areas we broke out from. So all the time we reject the initial balance low, we're expecting continuation lower. If we trade back inside that initial balance low and reclaim it, you have to be aware of failed auction scenarios, where we will trade back inside, and we've built lots of liquidity here. So just be careful if we start to do this move. This is your IB low. This is the key level. It's an area, not an exact line, okay? It's an area because we have an imbalance above it. Very, very heavy here. Sad not to be in this after talking about it. It's one of the downfalls of trying to teach while you stream, for sure. Very heavy on this tape right now. Look at the volume there on the snap. So as we traded sideways, very light volume, and the breakdown, large volume coming in, right? That's genuine selling coming into the market there. So approaching previous day open and then previous day low underneath. This H1 candle looking very nasty now. Yeah, ES has a wick at around 89. Underneath that, it can trade back towards its 5-day. Cannot be long in this market right now, right? We are short in this market. All trends are now short. Hourly has broken out to the downsides, back testing an area where we found bids, but it can get very aggressive here, and it looks like it wants to get aggressive. You will need structure to shift if you're thinking about longs here. You cannot be buying a falling knife here. No, Shane, I got caught teaching what I was looking for and it went. So I got caught, it's like an Incredibles movie thing, isn't it? I got caught monologuing, basically, saying what I was looking for to happen while it started happening. VIX now approaching 20, okay? VIX approaching 20, and it's approaching an old downtrend here. So a lovely move from VIX today. Everything in sync for the first time in probably about 3 or 4 days. We've got everything in sync again. So stick with the shorts, look for structure to allow short continuation. Fortunately, we've now taken a lot of liquidity now, all right? So we've broken the high time frame algo, we've taken out London, Asia lows, we've taken out the 5-day, we've taken out previous day open, we're now hunting for the green line, which is previous day low. For some reason, I've lost this off my other chart. Let's put this back on. There we go. So ES coming into its higher time frame algo right now. Has a way to go for its previous day open, previous day lows, and 5-day. A long way to go for ES because it had relative strength on that move up into all-time highs. So you have to be aware of possible SMT here if they do want to start turning this into a bullish move. Yeah, no worries, Scotty. Well, there's a little cash button on the chat. You can just buy me a pint there. It's a nice move. Hopefully some of you are in this short. While I was telling you what was going to happen, hopefully some of you actually pulled the trigger while I was monologuing. Lesson learnt there from streaming. Much harder to trade and stream than it is just to trade, for sure. Especially when I'm one of the few guys which is open and tells you what I'm looking for rather than just takes the trade and then calls it afterwards. Lovely, Tyson. Fantastic work. Love to see that. Lovely, lovely, guys. Great trading, man. Really good trading. All right, PDL now taken. High time frame algo now taking ES. Heavy pressure coming in here. Heavy pressure coming in here. We have wicks on the H1, all right? We have wicks on the H1, which I'm now looking at. All right, so the next real levels are all the way down here. If it's going to stay heavy, sort of the low 300s. The low 300s, where this was the old breakout retest. So I'm going to actually get rid of this now because we failed back inside that range. So I think some of you would have been here yesterday. I was talking about the really good short will be if we do something like this. This will be a high time frame shift. I was hoping this would happen Wednesday or Thursday. All right, I was hoping for a high of week on Tuesday, and it would give us a 3-day run back down to destroy everyone who chased. But like I always say, the market will do whatever it wants. Right? It does not have to do what I want. And today, it's just come a day early, which is fine. At least that range is opening up. So hopefully none of you got chopped up this morning. Certainly those in my Discord didn't. Just said, just let it build out the liquidity. It will become obvious. It's really important to remember that, all right? Those joining the stream late, don't get caught up in all this shit, right? This right here, don't try and feel like you've got to rush a trade. Once this is happening, it's building liquidity. When this is over, we get nicer moves. So just look to join the trend once it appears. We are currently in a very strong trend day of the initial balance, right? We are underneath the initial balance low. It hasn't even retested that initial balance low. The same way as it didn't need to build up much liquidity for a bear flag. Buyers are well and truly stuck. ES now through 20s, right? Hit a high of 2010. Sorry, yes, what am I talking about? VIX through a high of 2010. It's all right, Bart, if you got a piece, that's really nice. No worries, nice work, persistent pays. Good work, everyone. Everyone that got this short, continuation short. Remember, you are looking for shorts here. There's no reason to be looking for longs right now. We are selling through all the key areas on that higher time frame right now. And again, ES has a long way to go to come back towards its previous day open, previous day low. Right, can flush all of this. Coming back towards yesterday's IBL now on ES, and you have the 5-day around that same mark. So between 70 and 65, see if it gets a reaction there. If not, previous day open, previous day low will be on deck for the ES. Cannot chase this now. I cannot chase this now. FOMO feeling maxed out right now. But it's okay. So I always say there's plenty more trades to happen in the market. New high day on the VIX now, 20.19. All right, absolute ripper. We said if it got through the 60 area, tagged the 80 area, if we broke out of that, it had upside potential and the market would flush. And it's exactly what we got. So again, watching the VIX will help you with your thesis for what the market might want to do. And when you get divergence, you can be risk off. So key daily levels here, I would say, are into 307-ish, something like that. Well, looking at the daily chart, those old wicks from Friday and Thursday. If we take out those lows, honestly, we're opening the door for a mean reversion trade. What would that look like? Anyone who's done the course? Where do we trade from when we get stuck at the top Bollinger? Notice again, did we get a close above the top Bollinger? No. Where would the full mean reversion trade be to? This purple line here, all right? Really simple. Mean reversion to purple line. Mean reversion to purple line. Mean reversion to purple line. Over and over and over again. So anyone that tells you that moving averages don't work are talking absolute nonsense. Institutions are looking at higher time frame moving averages, believe it or not. They are not looking at SMC stuff. They are positioning hundreds of thousands of trades with millions and billions of dollars. They are not looking for tiny imbalances all the time. They're literally bidding the market up and putting pressure down based on standard deviations. Okay, so VIX having some sell pressure here now. So it's testing an old trend line that it broke out from. I want to see if it holds this around this sort of 20 mark, or if it's going to flush all the way back down to 1980. If it does that, maybe we get a pivot in this market. There's no displacement here yet, which has got me incredibly interested, but we have swept underneath previous day low. As like I said, the easy targets have gone. There is more downside there if it wants it, but it'll have to look at big daily levels. Volatility now is right up, all right? You had a high of 46 points per 1 minute candle, so just be aware of that when it comes to position sizing. Still in a downtrend here. You're still in a sell, multi-time frame sell right now. Only tiny imbalance I can see is right here, right, and right here. There's not much else for it to look at right now. No big displacement. It's come that close on the daily that it might as well really go and take out these lower daily levels. Might as well go and take out that Friday, Thursday range really into 300. Whether it does that or not is another thing. But that would inflict max pain. If you are a swing buyer, if you just think about this, if you were a swing buyer, if you were a breakout buyer long, dip buyer long, and you didn't sell, where are your stops? They're in this area. What does the market want to do? Make sure everyone loses. The easiest thing would be to come and make sure they lose, come underneath that 300. That would be the easiest move for the market to do to ensure they don't win. They can't move straight down, so doesn't even need to do it today. It might just need to reprice in here, do some form of trap, and then come and do that later. Remember, the initial balance hasn't even been tested yet, and we've probably done 100% move on that initial balance. Yeah, we have. Again, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, everything that I've just talked about very quickly there is in the course. Link is below, one-time fee. You'll learn everything that I'm looking at, and you'll get this indicator for free and the Discord room. So we've done 100% extension of that initial balance. Very common move for first leg down. Sorry, wrong chart. I've left you on the wrong chart. Normally Bart tells me off for that. He's probably made so much money he doesn't care. Yeah, thanks, Coop. If you can all drop me a like on the stream, it would be appreciated. Especially those of you who took my sell signals, who took the structure we talked about. Let other people know. Calling this ahead of time. I'm not calling it afterwards. I'm telling you what I'm looking for so you can execute on your own. rather than me just saying I'm in now and follow me in. You're able to execute on your own. You're able to learn as we watch the market, which I think is fairly unique. I don't think there's that many people doing that out there, actually teaching live while we're watching. So maybe a reprice up here. The M5 and M15 have lots of imbalances. Those were big engulfing candles to the downside. So if we go from current high of day to low of day, flag would be into here, a full reprice would be towards that 5-day, and I'd be low. Nice, Michael, nice. Well, yeah, at least you learned that lesson on sim. Perfect. I'm just seeing who's on the tape. There's a seller at 450 and a seller at 500 if they want to drag it that far up. Issue now is we've swept so much liquidity. We've honestly cleared so much out, and we've just come back to the same areas those buyers have been at over and over and over and over again. We've got 10 minutes until the new H1 candle, and this current H1 candle is huge. So 488 would be a 50% retracement of this H1 candle, which would be the bottom of that old gap. No big imbalance upside here, right? There's no big imbalance upside here, and it's fairly low volume. But what I would say is these candles here, where we put in the low, might be exhaustion candles for now. This is a low volume grind up. So I expect sellers to come in at some point. The question is when and where, and we have to wait for structure for that to happen. So just a reminder on high time frame chart, we've come into the same area without sweeping. Buyers, buyers, breakout buyers, dip buyers, maybe dip buyers again. DJ, that makes me very, very happy, my friend. So DJ just had his best and biggest trade ever, closing out for $5,400. Very, very happy to hear that. Congratulations. I'm interested where this hourly candle closes here. I'm also interested in what all the other YouTubers were doing. Were other people short in this market where we were looking for that breakdown? Or they're all buying dips too early? I'm very interested. Not to hate on anyone, just interested how other people saw this market this morning. Is this the end of the bear flag, or sorry, the start of the bear flag for a breakdown here is the question. Remember, your volatility is way, way up now. So think about the size of the candles when you're looking to take trades. I need to move you back onto low time frame. Sorry, team. So yeah, I think Tyson and DJ, the biggest winners in chat right now, both locking in massive trades. always feels good. Those of you who didn't see, Apex came out yesterday saying they are going to allow dollar cost averaging again. So you'll be able to trade multiple contracts at multiple times into your accounts again. They will remove the payout window. So no more payout window, and you will only need to trade 8 days. So looking forward to all these rules coming into place this month. If you're not with Apex and you're interested, the link is down below. Use code FZT, always get you the best possible price. I would expect they'll put a sale on in the next week or two. I don't know that, I have no inside knowledge, but I would expect there'll be a sale coming soon. But that's news, good news to me. Those of you, some of you would have known I had over $60,000 denied in payouts, which was painful, for dollar cost averaging some small micros. I didn't make a big deal about it because I knew it would just be a matter of time until they sorted themselves out. It was just growth pains. They had to put something in to control cash flow, and now we're going back to a good market environment again with Apex. So good reprice here. Watching this close, right? Because we've got another 5 minutes, or just over 5 minutes on this H1 candle. I'm interested how this H1 closes. Think about this old gap. Think about the size of this candle. Where do we close? Where does it drive back up to? Do we do a V-shaped bottom and start reclaiming everything? Is it just a breakout retest, and are we going to start reclaiming off those old levels? Lots of questions here. Easiest trade is gone. Those of you who got that short, that was the easiest trade. Aaron, normally just in the main, if you're talking about Discord, in the main channel on Discord, I also post my thesis ideas at the beginning of the week on Twitter. Flowzone Trader is my, or X, sorry, is my handle, at Flowzone Trader. So I posted on Sunday, I was looking for a Monday, Tuesday drive higher before a bigger selling moment later in the week. That's what I was looking for. No worries, Aaron. So coming back up for a potential back test of this 5 day. So you see, once we swept this previous day low and we came into this higher time frame area of demand where buyers have been showing up for over a week now, we've started to trade back upside. So are we going to back test these areas? You can think about a bear flag here and a potential breakdown, but this time you're going to have to be cautious where you take profits, because now you know where intraday buyers came in and we've taken out a lot of the liquidity. If we're really going to shift here, I'm going to have to look at another chart here, like an M5 or something. The tricky thing is, it's got lots of imbalances to fill. This is an M5 and it's big flush moments down, so it can come all the way back up and fill all of these, which would pretty much be towards VWAP. If we did that move, I'd be very cautious, because then I would say you'll get shorts doing add, and then we've got this liquidity here that we talked about. If it reclaims that, don't be surprised if it gets very nasty and goes back towards high of day, if it makes it all the way up here and reclaims this area. Seen much weirder things before. In terms of a fib of this leg, coming right into the 50 now, and 80 or 79 would be that 61 retrace. 3 minutes until this H1 closes, so it's closing well away from its lows currently on the H1 candle, right, on the H1 candle. Yeah, me too. Very happy to hear some changes coming to Apex. Very happy. Trying a little short here, small size for this move back down towards a close of the H1. For this bear flag we just talked about, hit the top of the flow zones. I'm not expecting much here. I'm locking in profits. Lovely. So a small win there. It takes me up to just under 1,500 on the day now. And I'm now going to just wait for this H1. All right, so all that was bear flag up, break below here, stuck at the top of the flow zones, short here, covering into this, just a small move down. I'm not expecting the world here because of the H1. Once we get a new H1, I can think about bigger moves. If this closes weak on this H1, I'd be very surprised. It'd be very, very nasty. If you look at an M10 or an M5 on the ES and you look at the VIX, VIX went and retested its IB high before driving straight back up. So timing started coming out. Oh, Scotty, I will talk to you off stream, but there were me and an old mentor that was in chat with me were both denied a couple times. It was tough going because our max size was always 12 micros. So imagine being denied for DCAing when your max size is 12 micros. It's very tough to take. They got very rigid on the rules. We thought about going to court. Other people did take them to court and actually got some settlements. I think Coop can tell you about that. But yes, twice denied. It's okay. It is what it is. I've had to let it go because mentally it was exhausting. But yeah, I think it was before you were in chat. I did put it in Discord. Some of the guys are well aware of it. They don't hold it. You can still trade those accounts. You can still trade those accounts and trade them through, but it's just tough when you've had a good couple months. But it's all right. I took my frustration out by going to Top Step, and I think I took like 8 weeks payout in a row on Top Step, so it's fine. Okay, so retesting previous day low here. New hourly candle here. So now you need to think about this hourly candle. Do we retest the old hourly candle low, which would be our current low of day, or are we going to reprice back up? So a trigger through this high now, let's call it 450, a trigger through that high on the hourly will open the door. The reason for that is this is one big hourly candle, which then closed here. Right, so if this gets above this, it can reprice higher. All the time it rejects it, we expect continuation lower. Remember, we are in a trend day down right now. We are in a trend day down. The hard thing about this trend day down is it was so aggressive in this move. This move here took every notable level of liquidity we were looking at. The only thing left now is 307, I think it is. Let's check that all together so you know what I'm looking at. So this level right here, 306, 316, right? These levels here, these are daily levels left. So if it does a move like this, this opens the gate for a 20-day failure and a move down to the lower Bollinger Band. This will take a number of days or weeks to do it, but this is what I was talking about last week. I think on Thursday, we talked about where a potential short would come. So remember, if we pivot above this here, oh, I've got to change your screen. Remember, this is the hourly candle close, hourly candle low. A pivot above this opens the door. Look how thin this is on an M5. There is no structure here. Do not be surprised if it rips back up. When we're thin on structure, it can do these moves very, very quickly. I would wait for now because this can be a 1 try, 2 try trap failure. If it reclaims and holds, then I'd be thinking about that trigger long. It's counter trend long, so you would have to be taking profit into deep pullback, IB low, higher time frame, VWAP, etc., etc. But do not be surprised if they want to run this back up. Thin structure down, thin structure up. All right, so we were sideways until this. How long was this? 28. So about 10 minutes, we did a huge move here from 571 to 330. Big move. So this high here is key just based on an hourly, as is this low. If we start to taper in range, be careful of this. All the time we're holding this, we expect lower prices. I know that's messy, but hopefully it makes sense. Trending this way opens the door to squeeze. Trending this way opens the door to further prices down. Think about bear flags versus bull flags. The actual shape of those matters, because what we're doing is condensing price action. We either want to condense buyers or condense sellers. Your ATR, again, is big. You're trading at 40 points per minute. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Foster Scott, yeah, I appreciate it. It's a while ago now. It's all good. I got over it. It took a minute. I've had worse moments in my life, trust me. Suri, you just passed 5 top set combines today from the YM drop during London Open. Congratulations. Congratulations. So now just take your time. Now you've passed those and you're on to XFAs. Take your time, all right? Don't be in a rush to make money. Take your time, build them up slowly. Yeah, it's body bag. I'm not going to pretend it was easy. I'm not going to pretend it's easy. No, I was very, very upset for a while. I found it very unjustified. But I think because it didn't just happen to me, it happened to a lot of people. I just had to kind of get over it. I've thought about trading my own capital, but I way prefer investing my capital in ETFs, in houses, than trading with it. Trading's still high risk, even with good win ratios, still high risk. So I'm interested how they act at this low here. This is previous day low. If they want to come and take this out, is this just going to be a bigger bear flag here? Or are they going to trap? It's harder now because the good trade's gone. That great trade, that's gone. Yeah, just take your time, Suri. Take your time. Take your time with them. The most common reason traders fail, there's 2 reasons. 1, oversizing, and 2, not using hard stops. Right, so don't move your stop. If you put a stop in, it's there for a reason. Place it around a pivot, be accurate with your entry, and don't oversize. If you do those things, you will eventually grind those accounts out to nice wins and you'll take paydays. And every now and again, you're going to get those runners. Like today, if I was short here, if I'd actually taken that instead of calling for it, let's say I covered most of it here, but I held my runner from here to here. It's over 100 points. That runner across 5 accounts, that's the trade that makes you have big winners, right? So those are the days which pay you, and then all the other days you're trading from here to here and from here to here and from here to here, right? And those are just add up slowly. Don't need to oversize. Don't watch Twitter too much. Don't watch, don't watch Top Stick TV when they had the guests on too much. Have had those big wins, because most of these guys are slinging 15, NQs on a CPI day across 5 accounts and having a monster winner, and then they give it all back. So don't be too invested into what other people do. The market is you versus you. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how much I make or anyone else makes. I'm happy for anyone that makes money. Don't get me wrong. Just try not to get competitive. Try not to get into that thought process where you're like, I'm not making enough money. We talk about it in the Discord a lot, right? I call it money dysmorphia, because you get so used to seeing the money on your screens that it becomes that tangibility, that you lose reality with it. You start thinking like, oh, $4 nothing anymore. $4 amazing. $4 every day is $1 million a year. $500 a day is really good if you're only working, an hour or a few minutes. And it's really important that we remember that and stay grounded. Chris Sosa, you passed 3 ETF static accounts with the M&Q on that 15-minute opening break. Took 10 days, and as soon as I took my time with micros. There you go. Yeah, it's all you need to do. You just got to take your time. Body bag, that's fine. That's fine, but at least you know. Look at the key thing you said there. So Body Bag said he doesn't do any long-term investment because of his reckless behavior, and he doesn't see himself living a long life and enjoying it. But at least he knows he's reckless, so he's not investing his money in stuff because he thinks he'd be reckless with it. So at least you know your personality. And we're only here for a short time, right? Might as well enjoy ourselves a little bit. Yeah, good for you, Suri. Good work, everyone on stream. Really happy to hear lots of you agreeing, lots of you passing your combines or your eval accounts today. Super happy. Today was a great day. If you caught any of those shorts we talked about today, it was a great day. You've all done better than me. Okay, so is this going to be a new handle? This is the question here. Is this going to be a new handle for continuation? Remember, if we're going for continuation, we're thinking about those 307s and 320s on the daily, and beneath that, the mean reversion trade to the 20-day. We can also watch the ES. The ES is lagging behind this move. Right, ES still is nowhere near its 5-day, its previous day open or previous day low. It's got a long way to go to that. ES is currently just trading at its higher time frame algo. So they're trying to find bids there on the ES. Same buyers who've stepped up for over a week. Whereas we've let go of it on the Qs. That higher time frame algo is up here. On ES, we're trading at it, it's down here. So that's the divergence in the market where ES has had relative strength. It's held up very, very well. It can definitely come down towards 70 there on ES, for sure. For sure. Looks like I should have held this short through that H1, doesn't it? But didn't think it would want to do that through an H1 bar. So we can just be patient today, especially those of you who've made your money. All right, be very selective now whether you take a trade. No reason to force a trade. If you've had a good day, you can always take the rest of the day off, or just watch the market or trade sim if you really need to click buttons. Those of you who haven't had a big trade yet or haven't got in, don't have FOMO. I had FOMO, made sure I sat on my hands. Still up okay on the day, just take your time. Yes, now finding bids are just hanging around that high time frame algo. VIX hanging around towards its high of day. It needs to hold 20. It's printed a high of 20.19. If it gets through that 20.19, it should open the gate for a move up to supply, which I've got sitting around 35. That's yesterday's breakdown level. Can trade up to yesterday's IB high, would be all the way up towards 55 on the VIX. So really nice bounce here on the VIX today. So again, they are protecting this low. You need to be cautious if they start to try and rip this higher, right? The liquidity needs to be built this way for downside. If they trap shorts at low of day and we don't get a new break of structure and they start to squeeze, this will trigger a squeeze moment up to here. These are intraday plays only. Yeah, so shorts are currently in control. If they don't get a break of structure, if buyers hold this level and we get a flag and they break this high, we will trigger a squeeze up because we are thin above. Look at the M5 and the M15. That squeeze will fill these imbalances, fill this H1. Very, very easily can go and do that. You can just wait for that to trigger. Once it triggers through 60, you can think about joining. Tyson, you had 5 PAs last month, had your first payout of 12K, and then you blew them all up, and now you've got 5 new PAs. Well, that's great. 5 new PAs. The good thing is that 12K has paid for you to have 10 PAs, hasn't it? It's comfortably paid for that, which is great. You've probably spent around 3 grand across 10 PAs by the time you pay for the new ones. So you're still up 9 grand in the money. So you're using house money, and you can start to grow those back up. So be cautious of this squeeze, all right? Cautious of this squeeze. If it starts breaking out off through that old high pivot, I'd be very cautious. Just a reminder, you are in a pro trend day short. So when I'm talking about this squeeze, I'm talking about buyers not letting shorts get under here, squeeze through this level, opens the door for a back test up here. It's just a counter trend move. You are in a pro trend short until we start reclaiming. If we start to taper here, which we've already started, think how strong this is. Now we're starting to taper and taper and taper. Shorts will keep adding short here. The ones who are late, who didn't short up here, they're adding and adding and adding and adding. They need a breaker structure down here. If they don't get it, and we build lots of short stops in here, that is your squeeze trigger. Does that make sense for everyone, what I'm talking about in terms of psychology, in terms of how people are trading this? That's all candle charts are. They're just showing you people's psychology. Oh, okay, Tyson. All right, all right. Well, maybe you break even off that 12K then. We'll see. But just take your time on the new ones. Take your time on the new ones. Don't worry. The worst thing people do, right, is worry about that like top step leaderboard and stuff like that. I think that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea, because it makes you competitive. There's no room for being competitive in trading. That competitive nature is ego filled. Ego is your enemy in trading. They're not helping anyone by putting those leaderboards up. It's not useful. It's the complete opposite. So just ignore anything like that. Don't get involved in any I said, she said stuff. So it looks like the squeeze is potentially on here for a potential W. This is the trigger point. So is this failed breakdown W? Yeah, so a W inside a W basically. But yeah, I really hate those, anything with it gives people boasting power or competitive nature in trading. I think it really is the opposite of what you need to be a successful trader. It will make you oversize, overreach, overpush to try and be number one, and you're more likely to blow up. Best traders are just nice and quiet, go about their days, make their money, get off. $10 E-minis, Foster Scott. Wow, you went big. You went big. I'm guessing that wasn't recently. I'm guessing that was a while ago. So there's a big seller here at 450, 455. That's where their stops are. They need to keep it under that, or like a little fail breakout and pull back down to have any downside pressure. Otherwise, they are opening the door for this squeeze and reprice like we talked about. ES is not far off its initial balance low and VWAP here. Remember what we talked about. This is the structure you need for downside pressure. This is the structure you need for upside pressure. This is their stop level. This is basically the range right now. Break out of that range, opens the door. Coop, algo box rules of sizing up after losers. What? So after you take a loser, what, they tell you to like go even bigger in the next trade? That's mad. You need to be doing the opposite. Work your way back to break even. So look at VIX coming back down, testing an old trend level. So if I can put this on the screen, you can see it. This is a higher time frame trend. This is what I was looking at on VIX. This chart here. So this is from failure, 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 failure. Today put on bottom, pivot up. We're back testing this trend line. If we hold this trend line and go upside, market goes back downside. If we fail back inside that trend line, come and test the low of day on VIX, market has squeeze potential. Right, so I'm watching everything at the same time. It's basically your channel right now, something like this. This will be your squeeze trigger once we get through it. If we get through it, I should say. If we get through it. Might not get through it. So that seller restacked up there. He's still sat up there. I don't think he got filled at all. He's got 76 orders there, and then he's scattered around just above and just below into that 450 level. There's a buyer on the tape at around 405 right now. And you can see my eyes are terrible because I have to lean in to see stuff. Crazy how bad my eyes have got from years of doing this. So anyone whose eyes are good, use blue glasses, use any type of protection you can have. Screens will wear your eyes down over time. Mine are really, really bad now. Don't think I could ever play sport now without contacts or glasses. I would never be able to catch a ball. It's terrible. So I'm just going to let liquidity build out here. Much like this morning, the range is much bigger. Just going to let it build out. If we can get above this, we can think about a pivot up and maybe up to here. If we start failing below this, we can think about that rotation into those low 300s. Right now, you're kind of in a range, right? You're in a range. This is the range. Just catching up on news here, sorry, while I go quiet. Just looking at the auctions. I think we had a Fed speaker today at 11:30, unless I've missed that. I didn't have it on Market Watch, but I did see it earlier. Let's have a look. Yeah, Daily speaking at 11:30, and then Kugler speaking at 1:05. So there's a speaker coming in 7 minutes. Just be aware of that. It wasn't. I did not have it on Market Watch, but I have seen it in a few other places. Getting a bit warm here as the sun's starting to come out in Los Angeles. So are we going to trade back up and head for that 450? Try and take that guy out. It looks like it, doesn't it? M5, M15 really hasn't repriced much upside yet. So just still in this range, still going to let it build out. You will have to excuse me. I've had a protein shake, some water, and a coffee, and I definitely need to pee because I've been at this stream now for almost 2 hours and I've been online with my team for about 3.5. So bear with me and I will be back. All right. Anyone watching small caps at the moment? Seen that ticker drug today. Up from sub $1 to over $17 on the day. I just saw Madaz closed out down over 300 grand on it. It's taken a lot of people's money today. So it was trading. Let's have a look at this. On Monday, this last week. So they've started building it last week, accumulating sub $1 break. Monday traded up to $2 and today traded up to $17.12. Wow. Absolutely wrecked all the short sellers in small cap world, yeah. Madaz down $350,000. Sorry, $355,000. Yikes. Scott, I spoke to him yesterday. He had the second part of the tumour removed. We're waiting for a new biopsy back. He goes back in tomorrow, I believe. And then we'll find out if we're doing radiotherapy, localized or chemo. But he's doing pretty well. He sounded in pretty good spirits. Thanks very much. Yeah, he sounded in pretty good spirits, which is good. Most important thing to hear. Okay, so coming back towards previous day low then. So failing the top of that range so far. Again, VIX, remember what I said about VIX, if it bases above that old breakout, which it's trying to do, this white line, it's trying to base above it. If it can base above that and go higher, the market goes lower. So I'm watching for timing here, coming back in towards this low here on that channel. Do buyers step back up here and drive it back up to the upside? We are definitely just in a ranging market here now. New 15-minute bar about to come, new 30-minute bar about to come, new 5-minute, etc., etc. Let's see where they close this bar. Yeah, it's great news. It's great news. I was happy to hear it. So I guess the big part of the surgery, well, it's twice gone under the knife now, and now we just got to get through radiotherapy and chemotherapy, and we'll go, or all chemotherapy, and we'll go from there. But doctors, from what I understand, seem pretty happy. So you notice it's getting a little bit whippy here as we come into this close. So closing in 2 seconds. One, let's see how they open this new bar, if they're going to look for a manipulation or just a continuation now. VIX right at that 20 level. So key level here on VIX, basing outside of that breakout on the higher time frame. Thanks, DJ. Appreciate it. Yeah, we talked about it. It's been going on for a little while now. Hence me sizing down, because every now and again I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, I got a phone call while I was on stream, so it can always be hard for me to focus and concentrate, especially when I'm sharing messages back home and finding out results and stuff. So I've had to be a little cautious with my sizing and how I trade, because definitely very easy for me to get triggered, so to speak. Tyson, I'm wishing you all the best, my friend. Thoughts with you and your sister. So far, sort of trying to hold, isn't it? It's trying to hold this. Downside pressure is still there in the market for now. Still there in the market. And this breakdown to here, we did pretty much tag 50. Let's do an anchored VWAP. Probably should have done that earlier. It'll probably tell us why we're selling. Yeah, okay. From higher date. I don't want to sell the lows in this range down here. It's one thing I don't want to do after we've taken all the key liquidity. I think the intraday stops are still very much in and around this orange box, and I think that still opens the door for a reprice higher where a better short opportunity may come. It may come, and it's probably going to come after I get off stream. I doubt this all plays out in the next 30 minutes, but hey, we could be lucky. Normally I get off stream and then it does all the moves we want within 10 minutes of me leaving. Yeah, I feel everything you're going through right now, Tyson. It's tough, but it's good to be strong and just use communities like this and trading as almost an escape from it all. That's what I've been trying to do, trying to be positive. Stay in as much flow state as possible. So VIX coming back and testing that trend line right now. looks good for a squeeze up here. Third attempt of that high. Tricky thing is finding something to risk off here where it's not too big. Right now you're looking at 50 odd points, and that's only an internal low. Makes it very, very tricky. What we're basically asking the question is, can we extend this hourly high and get into the thin structure above that pivot? All right, you see here on the hourly, all the volume right now is up here. We have some volume here, little volume, and here is very, very thin. So if they let it through that, it can reprice back up here very quickly. If they don't let it through it or they trap it, they'll need to build out more volume down here to do that move. This is much smaller than this shelf up here, right? This is where all the volume is. And we haven't, even if this is going to be continuation lower, we haven't back tested this. We haven't made sure sellers are still there. So that's what the market is thinking. Can we back test this? Is there a reason to go up there and back test it, or do we just want to keep trending lower and lower and lower? So remember, we're just stuck in range. This high here was made by this low. So this is the range between here. So this is a higher low, equal high, higher low, equal high. Really, we're expecting this to pop. If they fail it, they wash all these guys out. But normally this is a bullish pattern. But it's just bullish counter trend today. So if you're taking this, you're just looking for a counter trend move to fill some of the imbalances. We're not expecting today to come up here again, all right? And you have to wait for it to build out. It's like an ABC D type pattern. Something like that. Hooray, chart. Oh my God. Terrible, aren't I? I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay, let's do this again. Basically, flat top, building upside, pressure's building. We break beneath this, we wash these, but technically it's a bullish pattern and you expect something like this to play out. But it's just a counter trend long, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're trading this upside, you have to be locking in profits and you have to be moving your stop up aggressively, because sellers will likely come back in at some point to retest those lows. The thing is, like higher time frame sellers, they don't want to short here. They want to be getting short up here somewhere. And we like to trade with the higher time frame sellers and buyers. So we need to trade in and around the same areas. Right, so like I said, you have a Fed speaker now as well. Started 7 minutes ago. So it's Fed Daily right now, it says here. Monetary policy remains restrictive and aims to lower inflation. Warns for continued progress on the Fed goals is not assured. Fed must stay vigilant, committed to a 2% inflation target while keeping full employment. Risk to job and inflation mandates. Inflation mandates now more balanced. September rate cuts adjusted policy correctly. Expansion still possible as labour market cools and normalises from the pandemic. Unemployment rate near long run level. Economy in a better place with inflation easing. Public expects further inflation declines, which is not happening. Anticipates economic bumps and scares. Soft landing goal not yet achieved. Well, soft landing goal, for those who have been interested, has happened 3 times out of 11 when we've done these. So it's only happened 3 times out of 11. So they're going for 4 times out of 12 if they get a soft landing, which at the moment doesn't look like they're fully on track unless we get those inflationary data results coming down. They printed hot the last week. Even though the market is resilient and drifted upside, they did print hot. So still in this giant flag, right? Giant flag, building out liquidity. Can they break this orange level to trigger the squeeze, or are they going to come and wash these stops down here? Remember, ES nowhere near 5-day, previous day open, previous day low. It's nowhere near it. It's got another 30, 40 points to trade to hit any of those levels. It's holding its higher time frame algorithm right now. ES with relative strength. On the Mag 7, Tesla's green, Google's green, Apple's green. Everything else now red. So are they going to let this go now? It's very, very tempting here. Watching ES at the same time and the VIX. VIX is still above that trend line. So if it can expand higher, we get a wash here. But if it just keeps dancing around, it's going to be tricky. I'm blurred. Okay, let me leave the screen and come back. Is that any better? There we go. There we go. Time for a new camera, maybe. Maybe a new mic. Where, oh, it's still blurred on your screen. Where would I do autofocus, Aaron? That's terrible, isn't it? There we go. Would that be in OBS? So potentially trying to break down here, but it's very, very tricky. I still think these stops in this orange box are primed to get swiped. ES still above that higher time frame algo. Potentially, has the ES balanced more? The ES has definitely rebalanced more than the Qs. Came right back up towards its IB low. So ES basically repriced up here before dropping back down. And this now looks like sellers entering the market here. So are they going to trap underneath this internal low? I'm going to give this time, because if this is really going to wash, it's going to head to 300 and below. It's going to aim for those daily levels we talked about, and then the 20-day moving average. Yeah, mine is a Logitech. Okay, thanks for that, Aaron. I will check that out after stream. So this low here, are they trapping under this low to reclaim and go again? We are tapering yet again here, so we can do another channel, something like this. Very, very tricky. That best move that happened is the one that you all got on stream, the one that you all made money from. So it looks like that trap underneath that low that I was talking about, right underneath 87 into previous day low. It might have just needed some liquidity here. There's still imbalances here as it trades up though. This is where it's getting messy now. The fight is constant. Five minute, just in a range. For those of you trading ICT, you could argue that's a BPR. I don't think there's enough of a block here really for me. So here's a question for you. I'm probably going to remove that sale, which is above me. So would you prefer next week, or probably next month, where it's got that 20-hour on demand, would you like a 5-minute chart up there or an hourly chart? What would you prefer to look at in the top right of the screen? It would be a smaller chart. But what would help you? Sorry, Cat. Well, plenty more days, Cat. Plenty more days. Just one day in the market. Just remember that. I'm sure you've had really good days when you've been here. Remember you making money quite a lot when we've all been here. This 5 minute is just barcoding sideways right now. Are they going to let this go? This is the chart I'm watching right now. This 5 minute chart, just barcoding sideways, not repricing, not breaking down, trying to be patient. $425. So I'm just looking at the dailies. 425, 450. Still like continuation trade here. I would just prefer it if it had traded upside first before going lower. VIX looking really good now. So just under 15 minutes until a new hourly bar into lunch. Yes, looks like it wants to come back towards that low of day. VIX looking very good. 20.10, 20.19 is its high of day. If it breaks that, opens the gate to 20.40, we should see downside pressure on the market if the VIX can do that. It is currently flagging above that higher time frame trend line that I showed you. So it's broken out of its downtrend and it's currently flagging above it. Flow zones on an M10 and now supporting buy side action upside on the VIX. all my old friends, I can see them posting all about drug. A few of them got absolutely murdered. Some of them made money. Really feel like ES wants to go lower here. 10 minutes till that new H1 bar though, so expecting a little bit of liquidity to come in the next 10 minutes. Going to have to be patient into lunch, I think, and then just see where we are in this range. Definitely broken out from this now. I can get rid of this. Pressure is still downside, but the stops are still here, which open the gate for higher prices. Through this, maybe we get a trigger back up. Very, very tricky in a tightening range here. It's coiling on key levels. I would really like to see NQ take out the daily lows and maybe see the ES drive down further and fill some of the imbalance, at least down to 75s, 68. Previous day lows so far away at 50s, 55s. Not sure it's going to do that. Yeah, we are in trend down day beneath the IB low. We haven't really driven up to wash any stops out before doing this move lower. So what would be really nice is to run these stops, use this, do this, and do this. Something like that would be amazing. But I feel like we're running out of time right now. Oh, Cap, you're saying to put the ES chart in the top right corner. Yeah, I could probably do that. If people would prefer that, I could probably do that. I watched the ES chart on a 10-minute though. So I'm not watching it tick by tick because I'm trading the NQ, but I'm watching the ES on a 10-minute. Sorry, I just saw that comment. VIX still holding above that key level. It really looks like it wants to break out here. Yeah, nice, Scott. I just see you posted that. So you're adding in these pullback sells. It's nice. And got some good RR there. Here comes the drop on the ES, targeting that low of day now on ES. Yeah, you're coming into that area. Foster Scott into 65s. volume tapered right down now. You can see this volume since we put in that high volume, possible exhaustion volume here, and now we've just tapered the volume right down. Looking good here for that wash. So psychological level 880 on ES, previous day low on ES sitting at 78. Through that opens the gate, all right, down towards the 5-day moving average. Previous day open, previous day low, still yet to get taken on ES, a long way away. Yes, right at low of day. Watch that reaction here if they sell it or if they trap. Looks good for continuation right now. But just be careful of SMT, okay? Be careful of SMT trading NQ. Daily still talking. Right, so you still have Fed talkers, which means the news algos are still around, all right? So just be very, very aware of that. Don't think ES took the low, did it? Oh, it did, just by a tick. Yeah. The only thing I'd be cautious of, new hourly bar into lunch if there's SMT. Because ES did take that low by a tick. There's definitely lots of short stops in that orange box that I've got. All right, intraday shorts are definitely up there. Would have really liked this move if we took them out and then moved down. Always like to see one side get taken out first. Even if this went through and then we did this move, would have been really nice just to make sure they were run out. Michael, just reading your thing. I mean, that's kind of what I do with my runners when I use a trail stop on a runner, which is what Tom Hogard likes to do. The difference with that is he's talking about swing trading. If you don't use profit targets on intraday trading, you're going to give back your money a lot of time. So I would say with swing trading, it's fine to just, you know, keep moving your stop with the trade on pivot points. But like when you're trading intraday, you need to be locking in profits. But great book, really good book. So 1 minute until that new hourly bar. Then we're going to go into lunch. VIX very close here to breaking out of its flag. That's what it's attempting to do for an upside move on the VIX to increase downside pressure on the market. New hourly bar coming. Yeah, it's a great book, really good book. One of the better books out there, I'd say. I mean, yeah, I'm just reading the comments. I don't blame him for doing that body bag. I mean, he's put all that work in and people are giving it away for free. I do think it's a really good book. Yeah, intraday, yeah. When you're taking swing trades and investment, like when I'm investing in ETFs, I don't have profit targets in them. I'm just moving my stop up. Be very careful if this is SNT playing out, okay? Because ES has sweat this low. All right, ES has come down here. It's already swept that. NQ hasn't. There's lots of downside plays where the ES can go, but you are still in a range, right? It's a big range, but you are still in a range, 110 point range, right? Here, you're still in this range right now. NQ just tapped high of day. Sorry, NQ, Jesus Christ, I'm getting tired now, you can tell. VIX just tapped high of day. At 350 looks key on the Qs here. They're going to let this go with ES for a leg down. That is the question right now. But some sort of continuation here. Beautiful. Protecting that low again, so out there, just a tiny, tiny scalp. Just reading this. Hogard will do a live stream in a while in a white t-shirt with the neckline all stretched out like he slept in it. ESH1 demand 5,870. Let's have a look. I'm sure you're right. Yeah, so you got a block there, and that's also the breakout retest. So if you look at Friday, Foster Scott, and Monday, where H1 did that curl with the H1 flow zones and then extended out, we're coming back and testing that. So I'd say anywhere from 70, 68, all the way possibly down to 46 is a big area. And then you've got the 5-day moving average there, previous day open and previous day low. They're all stacked very, very close. So there's definitely room here for this to move lower. It's just whether they want to do it today. The weird thing is, right, there's no huge catalyst for this to move lower right now other than profit taking. And that's why, like, I'm slightly cautious, but there is a but here. In the next few days, like we talked about, if we are going to start building liquidity here, and it doesn't need to be a lot, there's so much here, this is a pretty easy rundown into starting to take these levels. This is a blow off top. Now, what I would say, everyone was calling for the market to keep going higher. Now, I even said I wanted Hive week into Tuesday, but what did we do yesterday? What did we do yesterday? Let me show you what we did yesterday. Let's take this to, let's do it here actually. I need to go QQQ. Yesterday, we filled this gap to the open. All right, this gap from July 16th is what I was saying I felt needed to get filled for the market to be efficient. I am still not convinced the market makes new all-time highs on the NQ. If this was it trying to seek efficiency and the market goes into a sell post-election with increased pressure from the Fed to be unable to do anything about cutting rates because inflation ticks up again like we had last week, then we can come and clear this out, lower Bollinger, and then trade down to here, at least to there. So once we fulfilled that obligation yesterday, it left me with less upside targets to think about. So it is definitely, that's not to say it's not still H1 demand, it definitely is H1 demand, you'd expect a reaction off it. But how we set up in the next few days will be key. Because that hourly chart now does not look so pretty, does it? And look at this daily candle. I'm going to assume we're going to close near low of day. Normally on days like this, we close near low of day. Unless it's really going to pivot above these, we're probably going to close near low of day. Trend days, I'd say 80% of the time, trend days close near low of day. If you look at the daily candles where we have big trend days, we close near the low or near the high of day. But those Bollinger Bands, if you were a swing trader and all you did was play Bollinger Bands and you got short yesterday, you're laughing today, aren't you? You're absolutely laughing. Long from this, sell the top. Short from that, cover the 20. Long from that, cover the top. Short from that, cover the 20. It's easy money. Easy, easy money, very high probability. So still inside range here. NQ is still inside of range, a 5-minute, 15-minute range, hourly range if you just go to the last hourly candle. Right, inside this range. Value area low into 414. Okay, currently not over it. We're currently looking for auctioning lower into these areas of demand. This is where I would like to see the market come and steal the liquidity, but for now we are holding. And we have SMT again. ES took out low of day, NQ did not. We're into lunch. As a reminder, we are into lunch now. Back testing previous day low here on the Qs. I'm probably done for the day here, team. Probably done for the day. Foster, Scott, I'm guessing you made some really good money in that. That's a nice trade. Well done, buddy. Any questions before I start signing off? Anything you want me to go over? If you've made some money or learned something here today, do me a favor, hit that like button. Share this stream on your socials. Do me a favor. Help me grow this channel. Please, 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 please. I put so much effort into this channel. I need to get it growing. Let's get some more people on board here. It's growing week on week, but we can get this going way quicker. Marek, no worries. So decent push off the lows here. Came with volume. Look at the volume. It's come with volume. Buyers definitely stepped in here. We have some cover points, some good momentum upside here. Remember, this is where all the stops are. It will want to hunt this. If it can get enough buyers in here, it will at least want to do this. Then we have to see the reaction. What does it do? Does it pivot up or come back inside? This one, it's Sati's volume indicator. All right, if you type in Sati vol, should come up. Volume stack, there you go. All right, team. I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to love you and leave you there. Love trading with you every day, team. So much fun. Thanks for all the good energy. Congratulations, everyone that made some big money today. Even those who didn't, well done for sticking around. Hopefully you learned something. If you want to learn more, of course, you can do the course. Zero pressure to do that. There's tons of free content on my YouTube, all right? Tons of free lessons on the YouTube. Go and check it out. There's a whole section dedicated to learning to trade on there completely for free. I will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Everyone in my Discord, I'll be back after lunch, right? I'm probably going to trade after lunch today. Looks like a decent day to trade. Until then, use hard stops. Please, please, please use hard stops. Don't add to losers, all the usual stuff. Behave yourself. Be positive. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. See you then. Drop me a like and subscribe. Peace out.